What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very well. Let's have an update on the Holy Pally. I'm going to tell you guys what's going on with Holy Pally, how it's been feeling so far in Season 2, what things have been, what I've been doing, what I've been up to, yada, yada, yada. First and foremost, let's look at my rating. I do have all 10s done in the first week of Mythic Plus, which is really good. So my vault is full. I didn't time all those 10s, but there is some on there that I've timed, and I've been getting there. We have some catching up to do in terms of rating. In terms of how I'm doing just on my like radar.io, I'm always interested in this. If you don't care about this kind of thing, that's fine, but I am a very competitive person, and I'm interested in trying to be the best that I can be and trying to get to the top excuse me, of the rankings if I can on Pally. So I'm ranked 2 in the realm right now, but we got some work to do on all regions. Again, yo, I really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe on the video. I gotta get some coffee. Bye. Again, so far I've been doing like plus 10s and 9s, and obviously there's a couple 7s in there, and I've been getting close in this first week to getting all the plus 10s done, and I will try to do that. If you're wondering like where Holy Paladin could be right now, we can look at Ellesmere, who is arguably the best healer in the entire world, maybe. Certainly the best Holy Paladin in the entire world. Right now he is rank 1 across all the different realms, and he is doing plus 14s and 13s and 12s. So I think that it's safe to say that Holy Paladin is not terrible in Season 2, given that he's already 3K IO in Season 2, okay? Like, it's just, a lot of people have been dumping on Holy Pally and like, oh, we don't know if it's going to be good. It's probably going to be terrible. It's not. It's just not. I think Ellesmere can easily prove that for us there. And again, he's doing much better than I am. He has a pretty dedicated group of people that he's running with. But the point is, I think Holy Paladin is just fine in Season 2, okay? Here's my gear. Let's take a look at that. So I'm 650 item level. I have dropped my tier set entirely now, and I'm probably going to replace these shoulders. I think I have shoulders in my bag somewhere. But the point is, oh yeah, they're just like veteran though. We'll see. I have dumped my tier set so far because the item level increase, in my opinion, is much greater than what my tier set is giving me, the old tier set. So all the pieces that I'm talking about are hero pieces, and I would not recommend replacing your tier set until you get hero pieces that are like at least 3 out of 6, that kind of thing, okay? And also, I would also say do not do not use your catalyst charges yet, okay? I have 2 catalyst charges right now because I have gotten 2K IO, and that's the easiest way to do it. Get your Mythic Plus rating to 2K. Instead of getting a token in Season 2, you get another catalyst charge, which is arguably worse, but could be better because it gives you some flexibility. The point is, I have 2 charges waiting for Tuesday. Don't spend them yet. Spend them on Tuesday so that you see what you get out of the vault, and then you could potentially have 3 tier pieces instead of just 2. So ideally you want to get 4 tier pieces by the time you get to week 2. That's the most optimal thing. Now, I've been really unlucky and haven't gotten a single piece of tier out of the raid, even though we've killed the bosses. We got my raid progress so far. We got all of normal done, and then we got up to Sprocket Master Lock and Stock. So we got 4 out of 8 heroic. So not bad, actually. I'm going to show you footage in a second, but I haven't gotten a single tier piece out of the raid. So it's going to be a little dicey for me. Here's what has to happen for me. Basically, in the vault, I need to have hopefully a mythic tier piece. That'd be really good. And then I will have 2 catalyst charges. So that's 3 pieces of tier. And then I need to get a 4th piece of tier out of next week's raid. That like has to happen, or else I'm not going to have any tier at all, which is going to be really bad. So I won't have any 4-piece at all. But the bottom line is, you got your catalyst charges, save them until next week so that you can try to get as close to 4-piece as possible. If you spend them right now, if I spend them on like my headpiece and my chest, and then I get a tier piece chest in the vault, I'm screwed, right? So you got to be really careful about that, okay? But right now I'm 650. I don't have any tier on. Again, like as I said, just because the item level increase was so dramatic. I went from like 639 to 655 on all the pieces that I replaced. So That's like 600 intellect per piece and like 2,000 stamina and secondary stats. Like, it's just a lot. It's a lot of, I also got avoidance on this piece, of course. So that was a pretty good reason to put it on as well. So yeah, lots of, that would be my recommendation for you guys when it comes to gearing, okay? Now, let's talk about builds. The predominant build right now is Herald of the Sun. Let me switch back to this. The predominant build that you're going to be running is Herald of the Sun with something like, if you're talking about Mythic Plus, then you're going to be looking at something like this. A lot of people, I think Ellesmere does not run Veneration, and I'm just a big stickler for Veneration. I love this thing. I think it's really, really strong, and I'm going to keep it for a long time. We'll see. Oh, yeah, I got to get rid of this. I'm like, where am I? I'm missing a talent point here. There, we put one there. It looks like this, basically. Yeah, you can do whatever you want here. This is what it would be. This is the Mythic Plus tree that I'm running. Again, there's one more talent point here, right? I messed up. I was just in raid. Just forgive me. I was just in raid, so just give me a second to sort it all out. That should be good. I can get rid of this. And instead, we could have... we're already down there. What was I going to grab here? Something. It doesn't really matter. You could actually just keep this. That's probably fine. Okay. This is my Mythic Plus build. I'll link it down below, okay? Again, I think it's quite strong. I think it's really good. Everybody's running Herald right now when it comes to Mythic Plus. This is the build. The primary reason for that is because Holy Shock got dramatically buffed, and this tree has more synergy with Holy Shock. It gives Holy Shock extra crit. You have an extra chance to sear people, and then Holy Shock has a chance to cast again at 30% effectiveness, which is really strong, actually. So you can dramatically buff Holy Shock, and you can get more crit from Avenging Wrath. Here's the problem with this build that most people are not going to be used to. You're running 2-minute wings instead of 1-minute wings, which means you need to be very careful about when you're using the 2-minute wings. You can't just throw it away. If you throw it at the wrong time, you will end up potentially killing yourself. There's a lot of stuff on the screen. This was during my subathon. We just had a big subathon. It was a lot of fun. You could potentially end up destroying everything if you, like, everybody can die if you don't have wings at the right time. So you have to be a little bit more cognizant of that. Here's what I'll say, though. Wings is basically, your entire team is invincible when you have wings up. Like, it's just no joke. When you have the 2-minute wings rolling, you put Dawn Lights on all your allies. You connect to those Dawn Lights with the beams. You're doing tons of damage. You're doing tons of healing. Nobody will die when you have that up. They just won't. So that's a really good feeling that I think Holy Paladin hasn't had in a long time. Like, 1-minute wings is certainly good, but it still feels to me like when you have that up, people can still die. When you have 2-minute wings up with Herald of the Sun, nobody's going to die. It just does not happen. I'm telling you right now. Okay, that's just the truth of it. So this build, you're going to have to get used to playing with it, and it's going to get a lot better once you get the new tier piece, and the 4-piece in particular, because the 2-piece bonus gives you the new insurance healing. The 4-piece bonus gives you cooldown reduction on Divine Toll. Divine Toll, what does it do? It casts Holy Shock. Holy Shock has been buffed by 40%. We're also taking other hero, the hero tree buffs our Holy Shock, giving it more crit. Our Avenging Wrath, our wings, gives us more crit, which means there's a high chance when you press Divine Toll that it's just going to crit and everybody's going to get a ton of healing from it. And guess what? It gets cooled down from the tier set bonus, the 4-piece bonus. So yes, you have a 2-minute wings, and you're kind of waiting to get back to your 2-minute wings. While you're waiting, you're going to have Divine Toll up basically every 30 seconds. Instead of it being a 45-second or 1-minute cooldown, it'll end up being a 30... I mean, yeah, you want to make it a 45-second cooldown first, and then you're going to bring it down even further with the tier set bonus. So it being a 30-second cooldown, to me, is very, very strong. It's going to be a large point of power for Holy Paladin going into Season 2. Once you get that tier set bonus, I'm telling you right now, it's going to just make everything feel like buttery smooth. Because now, when you have these moments of distress and you don't have wings up, you can have Divine Toll up instead with, you know, Beacon of Virtue, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to do a ton of healing for you. So that is basically where you need to get to, which is why conserving your catalyst charges and trying to min-max your tier bonuses is so important. You really need to try and do that so that you can make sure you get 4-piece as soon as possible. That's Mythic Plus in a nutshell. I would say right now we're running Herald, we're running 2-minute wings. Get used to it. Get used to it. This is the world we're living in now, and try to work with the 2-minute wings and use your other cooldowns to keep yourself alive while you can, and then you can get back to the 2-minute wings, and then everybody's invincible. And once again, when you have the tier set bonus, it's going to be incredible. One sec. Now, as far as raid goes, let me switch over to the raid. And the build that I've been running has been mixed. You can run a Herald of the Sun build, and you would drop things like Shining Righteousness and pick up like Unending Light and a couple things like that. But you can also run a Lightsmith build, and I've been running a Lightsmith build. I'll show you that in a second. Let me show you the Herald build first. So this is from our Styx Bunk Junker prog. We ended up killing Styx Bunk Junker on Heroic last night, which was really good. That was fantastic. And I will show you, I'll get the timestamp of the other fight in a second. So this is Styx Bunk Junker. This fight, I think you could play Lightsmith or Herald. Lightsmith actually has a lot of value when you have really spread, like your allies are all over the place. It's really nice to actually have Lightsmith in those situations. Now, right now, you can see the value of Herald, where I have all my melee bros in front of me. I press wings, and my beams are just going through them, and we're just giga healing everybody. Like, it's really cool, okay? That has a lot of value on this fight as well. I would say the more melee people you have in your raid, the better it gets, right? It's just straight up going to be better with more melee. So this fight is good. I think it's good for Herald. I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit so I can show you the Lightsmith stuff in a second here, but this build works. Your Light of Dawns, having a chance to proc a second time from Second Sunrise in Herald of the Sun, also a tremendous amount of value. And I was trying to get the hang of using Light of Dawn because it's really not a spell that I have used in a very long time. Even last year, the raid that we did last year, I didn't really use it at all. So I'm getting used to using it again, and it'll be something that I will have to get used to doing. But we do end up pushing Bunk Junker all the way down, and we end up getting the kill, which is really cool. And I didn't get tier like this guy had my tier, by the way. He had like my legs, which would have been perfect, absolutely perfect to get that. But unfortunately, we did not get it. But we did kill him, and our healing was fine. We didn't do a lot of healing on this particular pull, but I promise you, Herald of the Sun actually does do a good amount of healing. Now, let's go to the next boss. We're going to go to 652.45. This was one of our last pulls on this boss. So this is Sprocket Monger Lockenstock. This fight is amazing. I really like this fight, actually. It's completely chaotic and hectic and crazy, but I really do enjoy it. And the main new heroic, besides all the guns that are flying around, there's a new heroic thing in this. Once you get to heroic, the new mechanic is that there are bombs that go on the ground. There's 4 of them, and there's different, they come out throughout the entire fight. You have to pop these bombs one at a time, and there's a small debuff. When you pop them, the raid takes a ton of damage. You can see right there, and we have to heal it up. Now, I did Lightsmith for this fight, and I think Lightsmith actually can work quite well because the cadence of the damage that comes out on this fight is very good with a 1-minute cooldown, which is, of course, our melee wings. So I did the full Lightsmith build. Even though it's been nerfed, I understand. I actually think it performed quite well on this fight, and you're going to see that throughout the fight. Our healing isn't super great right now, but I promise you we're going to catch up because we have that 1-minute cooldown every minute. When the bombs come out, you basically have wings up every single time the bombs come out, and you can cover that damage right there, which is fantastic. Really enjoyed that a lot. We spent a good deal of time over our time progressing this, just trying to figure out the tank mechanic, like when the tank should be swapping, and because they have to take a bomb out from the group because it has fall off damage. And anyway, that took a huge chunk of time for us. Here's the second set of bombs coming out. They're being popped right now. And then we have melee wings back up again, ready to go, ready to save us in this moment and do a bunch of healing. So again, I would say there is a tremendous amount of value just in Lightsmith because you've got the melee wings. Now, you could play melee wings with Herald of the Sun if you wanted to, but it just doesn't have the same kind of oomph that it does because with melee wings, with Lightsmith, you're throwing Judgment an enormous amount, like way more often than normal, which means you're getting those AoE splash damage heals on your team, which is really, really good. So unfortunately, the tanks had a bit of a blunder here, and Lynx has 16 stacks of the debuff. He shouldn't have that many. But that's okay. Now they finally get it sorted out. We're going to get knocked back here in a second, and guess what? I've got melee wings coming up around the corner. We get knocked back over here. We jump over here. Somebody dies there, but that's okay. I got my Beacon of Virtue out and melee wings, and we're good to go. There's melee wings once again, and we can pump. I have to keep moving my character because I'm on a conveyor belt right now. Again, this fight is very, very, very hectic, but this is, I think, a pretty good combo, and you can see we're at the top of the meters now because I think this build works really well. Again, these raid fights are not about being the best of the best of the best. That's not the point. I'm not talking about being at the top of the meters because I want to say that I'm the best or something. I'm simply saying that because I think this build is helping me get to the top of the meters and do as much healing as is required. And I think, you know, Herald could do that, but I tried a couple different times with Herald in this fight, and Lightsmith felt a lot better to me. So we're going to keep going here. It's because your enemies, like, there are a couple different clumps. Like, we're in a big clump right now. Everybody's all clumped up right now, but there are multiple moments in this fight where you are not clumped up. You are all spread out across different sections of this raid boss fight, and Judgment, you know, can heal everybody in that way, where Herald really wants people to be more clumped up so that the beams can intersect with everybody and you can get that sort of better combination there. So again, there's pros and cons, I think, to both builds. I just think that the 1 minute melee wings was very good here. It felt very good to me to have that up every minute, to be absolutely pumping a bunch of healing. Okay, so it's up to you. You guys are going to have to evaluate, I would say, by a fight-by-fight basis, whether or not Lightsmith or Herald is going to work for you. Like, this is something that I really enjoy doing, and I will continue to update you on what you should use on each of the fights as I encounter them. I can do a video on that later, but for now, I just wanted to talk about how good Paladin is feeling right now. Holy Paladin feels great, in my opinion. I think it's very important to get your tier set online as soon as possible. All you need to do is get one piece of tier from the raid and one piece of tier from your vault, and then you can do the 2 catalyst charges, and boom, you're online. Do not be afraid to get a champion track piece of tier from your vault or a champion track piece of tier from your from the raid itself. The 2 pieces of gear that you catalyze into tier, those should be hero track or higher, preferably. I mean, they can't be higher right now, but those should be hero track. But the ones that you're getting natty can be champion track. That's okay, because you'll replace them later. But what's most important is just getting the tier set online. It is so critical to get this thing online, okay? That's it for me right now. I will give you guys more updates in the future. Thank you so much again for watching. I love y'all. I will see you in the next one.